Hello everyone, let's talk a little bit about the wait for Silksong. It has been a long time. This vast desert that we wander has felt empty, cruel, and has been even drier than Teen Jerry's blog. But finally now, the horizon is lightening and the dawn of Silksong will be rising on us so soon. While we have the opportunity, before the game is released, I just want to talk about this wait and also about my own feelings during this time. For me, this journey began all the way in 2019, as I was nearing the end of Hollow Knight. I saw a few seconds of familiar art style in the E3 Nintendo Direct, and a few queries into Google later, a trailer so hyped my vision went blurry, and I joined the excited masses. Later on, I finished Hollow Knight. This game's mechanics, visuals, design, atmosphere, music, it's all been talked about and analysed and loved all over the internet. But for me, I think that the hardest part of this game to analyse, and also the hardest part to talk about, is the game's feel and atmosphere. Three fantastical beings hang over me, debating my future in rhyme and riddles. The ground cracks below me, sending me into the slithering, crawling depths below. A break in the wall leads to a tucked-away pocket civilization, perhaps the last still functioning in a world burdened with the souls of the uncountable deceased. The exploration of this game was made all the more compelling by gaming itself being a new frontier for me. The way people talk about Dark Souls as the second coming of Jesus Christ is how this game feels to me. Being one of my very first gaming experiences, I was figuring out not only the rules of this game, but many of the basic rules of gaming as a whole, the basic rules that underpin literacy in this medium. Perhaps my favourite memory from my original 2019 playthrough with Hollow Knight was when I was babysitting for some family friends. While they chatted to me excitedly about the thunder and rain outside, prepared dinner and dessert. Afterwards we watched a movie, played a few board games, and finally, eventually, I got them to go to sleep. With a good few hours before the parents came back, I slipped the Switch out of my backpack and loaded up Hollow Knight. The sound of rain pattering against the window was interlaced with thunder overhead, and lightning occasionally cast the dark cushions of the room into sharp, contrastingly bright angles and shapes. Here is where I discovered the City of Tears, where I fought painstakingly with the Silksong over and over, hiding from the floating monstrosities that cast such powerful and difficult spells to avoid. Each single enemy proved a long challenge in this area, and I could only defeat them with careful deliberation and well-timed strikes. Finally, traversing this uniquely hostile area one last time and overcoming the Soul Master to get the Desolate Dive ability will stick with me for a long time, even as I can now brush through the area with ease. That first trailer for Silksong made the game look like it was basically almost finished. It felt like it was just around the corner for ages. So when it continued to not come out for so long, I wouldn't say my anticipation soured, but the vibe definitely started to come down a bit. I transitioned from an active waiter to a passive watcher, and I think much of the community has been the same. Honestly, it has been a blessing. While hype and a bit of a wait is fun, it also takes energy and isn't sustainable. I think I just had to accept that this game was still a fair ways off. Now, of course, we know that Team Cherry is just having a shit ton of fun behind the scenes, and that is fantastic. I think that personally, it missed that sweet spot of anticipation for me. But I don't really think that matters. I'll still enjoy the game as a different person. I just feel a little bit sad for that frenetically hyped younger version of me. And I suppose that is the sad part of this wait. I am nowhere near the same person as I was when I first played Hollow Knight. 7 years ago, I've gone through all of high school, I've moved out of home to the city to attend university education, of which I'm already 3 years deep. I've gone through a whole gaming journey since Hollow Knight, playing some of the most amazing games, though none of them have hit quite the same as Hollow Knight first did. Sadly, I don't think anything ever can now. I'm still going to love Silksong, I'm sure, but it will be different. Nothing made this clearer to me than Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild shares a lot of similarities with Hollow Knight for me, both evoking that special kind of nostalgia born from exploration in a vast, unknowing world while I was still young. And similarly, I found out about the game's sequel at the very same 2019 E3 Nintendo Direct. It was a good day for me, to say the least. The hype I felt for Tears of the Kingdom was different to Silksong. It felt like there was a lot more capacity for a sequel to Breath of the Wild to be way more surprising than a sequel to Silksong. Silksong will not be more of the same, but we know roughly what direction it's headed compared to the mire of mystery that surrounded Tears of the Kingdom all the way up to the end. After I saw those first Silksong and Breath of the Wild sequel trailers throughout 2019 and 2020, I dreamed up unique landscapes, deadly bosses, and complex mystery. I painted hundreds of potential canvases for Silksong and Breath of the Wild sequels in my mind. I remember thinking about Silksong all the time, fantasizing about what the game would be like, how it could improve upon Hollow Knight, exploring Farloom's most distant exotic regions. But the more I thought about it, the more I realised that there could only be one canvas. There was only one canvas. And these canvases with all my ideas couldn't all be squished onto one, obviously. A lot of them conflicted with each other, they lacked cohesion, or they just weren't always very good. Plus, Team Cherry and the Zelda team only have so much time. Putting every single one of my ideas in would be unthinkable in 10 lifetimes, let alone one. When Tears of the Kingdom came out, I loved the game. I did. But it inevitably disappointed me with just what it couldn't be. Of course, there are very real issues with Tears of the Kingdom too, but even just with the change from the sequel to Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, something was lost. I have so many thoughts, wishes, dreams for Silksong that are all about to be wiped away by the final product. It feels like I am in a time of my life in which I must start making the big decisions about my future. I already have made big decisions about my future, in fact. It's scary. Thinking forward about my own life has given me indecision paralysis. It feels like as soon as I choose how to shape my own life, whittling and sculpting away, I'm cutting away opportunity for countless other different lives. By realizing my potential, I have lost my potential. But this isn't quite true. It is not us cutting away at this gem we call life, but time. We can only tell it where to direct the cuts to shape it to our liking. We are losing our potential anyway. That's okay, and we shouldn't allow that to scare us from realizing it. There is a school of thought that a bowl is most useful when it is empty, because it has the most potential to be used. But I'm trying to see it more as a bowl is most useful when it is being used, when it has realized its potential. All of this to say that the hype for Silksong is real, and has been real for such a long time. Fan expectations are so high, and I think that because of this, Silksong will be received really well for the first few months of its release. And then we'll start to see some more negative opinions trickle through, like with Tears of the Kingdom. I think that a year down the track, Silksong will actually be a little bit controversial. Maybe. Silksong would be an amazing, fantastic game, but not the next Hollow Knight. But that is all for later, I suppose. For now, we have an exciting new experience ahead of us, and while I initially felt a little bit empty, I guess, now that it is so close, that hype is building. Even with all the terrible stuff that is happening in the world, and with the knowledge that things can't be as they were, I still have a lot of optimism and excitement for the future.